The harpoons were ready for Waterworld long before film came released in theaters in July 1995. Kevin Costner, who was still hot off of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, The Bodyguard, and Field of Dreams, was the star of the dystopian sci-fi thriller. However, the project's quickly rising budget had the movie press circling like hungry sharks. The production had also run into the kinds of problems that only happen at sea, and the age-old problem of creative differences had caused director Kevin Reynolds to leave early. He and Costner had not always seen eye to eye when they worked together on Robin Hood. By the time Waterworld hit land, it had already been called Fishtar and Kevin's Gate, which are sneaky references to the renowned flops Ishtar and Heaven's Gate. But the movie was 20,000 leagues away from the calamity that Hollywood was ready for. It may have just made it into the top 10 at the U.S. box office for the year, a long way behind Batman Forever and Apollo 13. But it would have been a hit if it hadn't cost an unheard-of $175 million to film. Waterworld eventually made money because it did much better overseas, where the bad press may have had less of an effect, and it did well on VHS. It's easy to look past the cash signs and the movie's bad image as a flop now that Waterworld is 30 years old, because even though it's not perfect, it's a big and beautiful piece of history from a period when practical filmmaking was still the best way to make movies. It deserves more than to be called Mad Max: The Sea Warrior, even if original screenwriter Peter Rader, who shares a credit with Pitch Black creator David Twohy, has said he was going for a Mad Max feel from the start. Waterworld doesn't say what year it is, but it shows a future where the Earth's polar ice caps have melted, leaving the whole planet underwater as an ocean planet. This is shown in a clever way by the flooding of Universal Pictures' famous globe ident. But if you look behind the story about global warming, it's really simply a race to get to the dry land that has been lost to myth for a long time. At least it's simple to see where the money went. It's usually better news for Hawaii's economy, where much of the movie was shot, than for Universal's bank account. Reynolds had approached Steven Spielberg for assistance before the cameras started rolling. He wanted to know what a director should do if they wanted to shoot on the ocean. After Jaws went beyond schedule and budget, Spielberg told him not to worry about it and instead suggested that Reynolds look into alternative options, such as studio space or large water tanks. Sid Sheinberg, the CEO of Universal and another Jaws survivor, told the production crew to plan on spending at least 25% more than they had planned. This estimate turned out to be rather low. Reynolds must have wished he had listened to Spielberg when Costner was caught at the top of a mast during a storm. Undersea scene where the mariner, Costner, shows Helen, Jean Triplehorn, a city that is underwater, was made using complex models, such as a sunken version of Quint's boat in Jaws, the Orca. Still, Reynolds' dedication to filming on genuine waves gave Waterworld an incredible level of realism. If only the screenplay could match the setting of the movie. Even though Hopper is overacting like crazy and Joss Whedon is trying to fix the script at the last minute, there isn't much real humor in the movie.